Hey guys, this is Jedi Kids here. This is part 3 of the Sith Acolyte mask tutorial, and this one deals with... This is going to be shorter. This is just basically dealing with what I did to paint it. So if you haven't already watched the first two tutorials, I'd strongly recommend it, because you can make a pretty awesome mask out of paper mache and or plastic. But if you have all that done already, and you are still not bothered by the sound of my voice, we're going to move on to the painting techniques. Okie dokie. So, the first thing that I did was I got myself a little area outside, got some newspaper and worked on the ground, and I took, I got two different types of spray paint. Because I wanted to make it look very much similar to the one in the video game, with that kind of metallic look, alloy look, aluminum, I basically went to Home Depot and got aluminum spray paint. Who would have thought? But the spray paint, they have different types, whether it's shiny or glossy or rough. I got the glossy kind because with the overall product, it is supposed to look like a metal. So the aluminum, the glossy aluminum worked out well for me. There's one other type of spray paint that I used, and that was a hammered finish type of gray spray paint, like a metal type of hammered weathered finish that you probably put on your chairs outside on your patio. The reason why I did that was because I wanted to give it a more used, worn look, because Star Wars is not a new space, it's a used space. That same kind of style applies to everything that they have in there, and I wanted to get that same kind of style with the mask itself, not have it like a brand spanking new. So I added the first layer of aluminum spray paint. I covered the entire front portion with with all the little details, and I did a nice, good, thin coat, made sure that everything was covered. I also recommend doing this outside as well, because of the fumes that the spray paint creates when dealing with this kind of stuff. It is important to protect yourself, and I don't want you guys to sue me, because I wouldn't like that. So once you have that, you can use your hammered spray paint. I did a lot less than my aluminum because I didn't want this thing to look like a patio furniture. So I did a couple spots here and there. I used toilet paper a lot because it's great when you're trying to get an old weathered look. There were a couple of techniques on YouTube that I thought were really well done, and I wanted to do the same thing. So if you do that around your mask, or you could use paper towels, whichever one works for you, you can have different areas of older, there's like different pieces of the mask, different parts that are shining out more than others. But you can experiment with like whatever kind of look that you want. So when I have that done, I got my first layer of paint, and now I need my second layer, and that is where acrylic paint comes in. You can't just use any kind of paint that you want with this kind of stuff. The best for plastic is acrylic, because you use that to paint your models with. What I used was a carbon black paint, which was very fine black. I didn't want any other type of shader black. Black is black. You can't get blacker than black, right? So I used the I got a small bottle from whatever fabric store that you have around you, and I did all the inside areas. Anything that was sticking out would stay silver. So anything that was concave in, I would have my layer of black. And I used a thin layer. I used a thin paintbrush because the areas were very small, and especially in some areas there were like cracks. I had to do 2 layers of the black paint because of the first not getting into all the little pores, because the plastic really does get a lot of material, and it will create a couple tiny cavities and not a completely smooth cut. So depending on how well you make your original mold, your paper mache mask, then you will have to go with the flow and use what you have. So I covered all the smaller areas with black paint. Made sure I did the inside walls too, of whatever pieces were sticking out, so that it would have a nice finish, and you couldn't see any white. So that's basically point. That's basically the point. You don't want to see any of the plastic when you're done with this. So once you got all that black plastic around, you can take a look at it, see if there's anything that you missed, any areas, and if there was some other kind of paint design that you wanted to do on your mask, then that's up to you. I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to risk making a mistake. But if you guys have like cutouts of shapes, you could put them on your mask and just paint over it. That would probably be a really cool thing to do, thinking about it, because you can do your own type of design, even though the shape is going to be the same. So you've got your gray paint and your black paint on. Now you need to make sure that the paint stays on. What you can use from there is this enamel acrylic coat. It's a clear, glossy finish. It's a spray paint that you can cover over your mask, and it basically protects the paint inside from getting scratched off. That is entirely possible, especially with a razor. So putting that coat on is a good idea. Just make sure that you get the entire area inside, and nothing else is just missing. So when you have that done, you got your mask. You painted it inside, you put the protective coating on. One thing that I did forget to mention with my second tutorial video was the inside. I did add straps to it. It's basically a 3-point strap system. I did one on the top of the forehead, and then 2 near the sides, near where like the jaw meets the cheek underneath. I wrapped those. I glued those together in the back. You could either use hot glue or industrial glue, and have them all come together in the back some way that you want. And then I added like a small black visor, like with a black tint behind the eyes, so that you could see other people but they couldn't see yours. And then a couple of little pieces of foam padding inside so to make it more comfortable. But those were like basically little things. But they turned out they were good ideas. So there you have it. You've got your final mask piece with the detail incredibly similar to the game Star Wars: The Old Republic, and this is basically what I've been doing with my spare time, just researching and trying to figure out new stuff. I hope you guys like these tutorials. If you like my other videos, please check them out. I'm going to try and do these tutorial videos more often. I know the next one I'm going to do is Darth Nihilus's mask, I believe. I got a couple of requests for that. I'm going to try and do it myself. So I've got that, and I may make Mandalorian's mask, and I'll try to make a Mandalorian mask as well. Just as a small side note for you guys, this summer my friends and I are going to be making a Star Wars fan film based off of Revan, the book that was published back in January of 2000. I believe it was like December of 2011, came out 2012 when I heard of it. But the writer was Drew Karpyshyn, and we're going to be making a movie directly based off of the book. So these kinds of masks you're going to see a lot more of inside. But if you guys are interested in getting these masks, I am going to be posting an eBay account, which I will provide with the description below, and I will be able to sell these. If you guys don't want to be making these yourself, if you want to spare the time of 100 hours of experimental work, then by all means just check that out and see what you like. So thanks again for watching my videos, and until next time, this is Jedi Kids signing off.